Hey everybody, so I thought I would do an update on my vermicompost bin and do a little feeding. So I really can't remember what my last video was about or when I filmed it, because I know I filmed a couple of videos but I don't think I've posted them. Go figure. So this is kind of like the updated status, and let me put on my old raggedy glove that has like holes all in it. But this is the bin. Well, I started this bin, what was it, April of 2020, and I ended up harvesting the castings back in July, and this has pretty much been this way since July, and it is now January 2021. So I was going to harvest it recently, but I've been watching a lot of vermicomposting videos lately, and I noticed one thing, that my bin is a lot drier than what most people keep their bins. So, a little backstory. Last year when I started my worm bin, I bought, 60 worms, 2 packs of 30 worms from Walmart, and I really, when I had, gone through the bin a little bit later, days or weeks later, I only had I had less than 20, let's put it that way, and then gradually I started finding more. They started reproducing, and at one point in July, when I had harvested this bin, I had over 200 worms, which I was like, score, yes, progress, perfection. But so that it was thriving for a while. And recently, just a couple of weeks ago, I was going through here and I had a ton of worms in here. A ton of worms. So I imagine I probably had double. So I probably had 400 plus worms in here. Big worms, good looking worms, worms all clustered up in a ball. But that's when I started really getting to watching vermicomposting videos again. And I noticed again the compost bin in general was a lot drier than most people's bins. A lot of people seem to have very moist bins, and so I was like, well, maybe I should add some more water. So I have my little spray bottle. This is just one that I got from a little set of bottles at Dollar Tree. But in the past, I've had issues when I've kind of kept the bin more moist, which it really isn't even. I think it's a lot drier. When I say moist, it's a lot drier than what most people keep theirs anyways. So, over the summer, I had issues where I had a really bad breakout of, I guess, fruit flies or some kind of little pest in here, and little mites. I had a lot more mites than normal. So that's when I had, would put it outside and let it dry out and everything, and all that cleared up, and things seemed to be going great. And yeah. So I did not mean to be so chatty, but point being, a few weeks ago, I just spritzed it, and I noticed within the next day or two, it had a really strong mildew smell, but, I mean, it didn't look any different other than the fact that there was more moisture in it. Well, then I noticed, I can't find a lot of my worms. The bulk of my worms disappeared. So either they died or somehow they may have escaped, but I did not notice them escaping, and I have not found remnants since. So I guess they just died off, and I don't know what the deal is. I've got a lot of little worms in here, but yeah. So I went to Walmart recently and bought another storage bin that I've already drilled holes in with the intention of setting it up, because my thought process was, I'll just, when I'm ready to harvest this, which I thought I was ready to harvest it a couple weeks ago, and I was just going to pull out all these leaves and this little paper that I've ripped up, and put it in the new bin, to help inoculate it and everything, get it started and use it for bedding and whatnot, and just move my worms, migrate my worms in this bin and just take them and put them in the new bin gradually, you know, so that whatever's in here can continue to break down what's in here. And then whenever I feel like this has been like all sorted through, migrated out, whatnot, then I could really sift through this and, you know, separate the castings. So, yeah, and that's when I started spraying it with water and worms vanished and whatnot. So, I've been toying with the idea of starting the new bin at, I'm going to do that regardless, but I was thinking about getting another 2 packs of worms from Walmart. So I'm still up in there whether or not I want to do that, or I'm kind of thinking like, excuse me, I'm getting choked up at this point. I'm going to feed this bin now. I've been feeding it every couple of days with just small amounts of frozen like banana peels. We got an abundance of banana peels and like frozen fruits in general in the freezer, and so I've been putting those in. They haven't really been doing much with them. Like I had a piece of watermelon rind that I'd thawed out, and usually they go for the watermelon rind, but this time like it took forever for them to break it down, so that was a little disheartening. But I'm thinking about like whatever, like the next few times I feed it, just like whatever I can find, like kind of using the food as bait, and whichever worms have like, you know, gone and taken the bait, so to say, moving those into the new bin once I get the new bin set up. I don't know, I'm so torn. I'm just talking so much right now, but I'm just kind of torn with what I want to do. But another thing I noticed, usually they love banana peels, and I've noticed that they were like clustering in like certain areas of the bin. So recently they were clustering in this corner over here, and then last night I noticed that there were a bunch down here clustered. So I normally feed in the middle of the bin. They haven't really, like I haven't been finding them really going for the food in the middle, though I noticed like the last banana peel I put in there, it's gone. It went pretty fast, so that's a little encouraging. But every time I find remnants of the food scraps, it just, there's no worms around it, so I'm like, what? This is unusual. So I'm just kind of torn right now with what to do, and I feel kind of impatient, but at the same time I'm like, I do want to harvest this because it's getting like time to start prepping for growing season and sprouting seeds and whatnot. So and then I've got some ideas for things I want to do with like having an indoor salad garden. So yeah. So let me just shut up and get on with this feeding. So this is what I have. So it's just frozen banana peel. Well, it was frozen. All this has been thawed. And a strawberry, blueberry, banana mix. But I don't think there's any actual banana chunks in here. It's just like a little pinch of stuff from that frozen mixture. So I think, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep feeding towards the middle. I'll do, this is kind of more like towards the back of the bin. I don't normally feed like close to the edge, but we'll just feed in here instead to see if they'll like migrate over this way, just because, I mean, I don't normally feed them there, but why not? Why not? So let me just kind of dig a little area here. So I think I'm going to put some of these leaves down here just to maybe encourage them to get broken down some more. Let me just kind of dump this in there. Alright, so slide that around. And another thing I have, let me take my glove off. So I took several eggshells and just used my little mortar and pestle. Sad, I can't even remember what it's called, but I guess this is mortar and pestle, to grind them up. So I'm just going to sprinkle these in on top of where I put the fruit. Just kind of in the area and all that dust flying up. So this is what we got going on right here for the feeding, and I'm tempted to dig around in there, but since I just fed them, I'm not going to like mix it up right now. But what I will do, so let me put the glove back on, and I'll put some more of these leaves and things kind of in that area. And normally, like in the past, they would break these leaves down in no time, and these are the same leaves I've had in here since like October that are still pretty much full. Like you can like see the way that they were when I grabbed them and brought them down here. That may be because a lack of enough moisture in this bin, but like I said, I had a ton of worms when I had less moisture in here. But you know what? Still a learning process. Like I'm still learning. I'm still in my experimentation phase. I guess I'll always be experimenting. Like, I mean, experimenting's fun unless I kind of tweak it to the way I like it and get good results, and then maybe I'll stop experimenting. But hey, so I guess that's it for now, and hopefully I'll check in with another video soon.